why should I bother? I'm just old anyway. It's not going to make a difference. Hi friends, thanks for joining me. I'm going to try to keep this one from becoming a rant because I feel very strongly about this particular topic. So I'm talking about the thought or the the idea that we're old when we're in our 40s and 50s. So not only people looking at us and saying, man, you're old. Okay, because my kids do that, right? You're old. Yeah, I know. But also in the way we look at ourselves, right? How we approach what limitations we put on ourselves. So the thought that you're so old that you can't pick up a new fitness routine. You're so old, so why should you bother to start eating healthy now? So these are archaic ideas that we need to get rid of. There is no reason to think that you're too old to change. So this is a question I get from potential clients and clients all the time. I keep gaining weight. It doesn't matter what I do. Why should I try? I'm too old to change now. You're not too old. You can always change. So let's talk a few things through here. We're going to talk a little bit about why you're not too old and why you can always make changes. Yes, a conversation I was having this weekend with someone was that, man, she actually said to me, if I had started doing what you told me to do years ago, I wouldn't have gotten to this place now, right? So if you start early enough, the idea is if you start early enough that by the time you get to 40, by the time you get to 50, by the time you get to 60, you'll be in better shape. Not even just physically, but you'll be in a better mental place to deal with all of the changes that come along and everything that we have to deal with. Because when we're in our 30s, we're really just trying to get through every day, right? We're trying to do the best we can. We're at work, we've got the kids, life is happening really, really fast, and we're still trying to squeeze in a run or get in, a fitness class here and there. 40 comes along, things are still very chaotic, right? Everything's still nuts. Now you start to get little hints of perimenopause, right? So little things here and there that start happening. So maybe it's your time slows down on your run. Maybe you're skipping 2 days a week in a workout. Maybe you're not quite feeling is great after eating out, right? Or eating a high sugar or high fat meal, right? So little things start to show up. The closer you get to 50, the more those little things become a little bit bigger, and then they start getting a lot bigger. And then 50 comes and goes, and now it's like, oh, there's a pen on the floor. I guess that pen lives there now. Yeah, Velcro shoes. I would consider that if it meant I never had to bend down again. So stuff like that starts to circulate in your brain, right? And you think, if only someone had told me. If only someone had told me to eat fiber when I was 35, that I would feel so much better and I would be ahead of the game. Well, here's your warning. If you are 35, eat fiber now. Get in the habit now. So let's talk about why, even if you're not 35, maybe you're 45, maybe you're 55, maybe you're approaching 65, you can still make changes. Now I have my notes here. So, because, I tend to get off on a tangent. So remember to start where you are. So it is never too late to make a change. And one thing that you should know is that your body has an amazing capacity to heal, to change, to adapt to new things, what your new normal is. And I'm not sure I really like new normal, but we'll go with it. And then also know, why do you want to make these changes? Why is this important to you? What is the big deal about right now for you? So maybe it's that you have a new grandbaby and you realized, I have to get down on that floor, so at least to pick up that pen. Or that maybe now you've been diagnosed with something and you're having some heart issues and it's concerning and you want to deal with that. So there are a never-ending supply of whys, and none of them are wrong. Just know what yours is. And it's going to change, absolutely. All right, so keeping in mind your why and that your body has an amazing capacity to change and to heal. So even if you did hurt your knee when you were running those marathons in your 30s, you can still do things now. It just looks a little bit differently. It's just going to be a little different. Okay, so what kinds of changes can you actually make that are going to make a difference? Well, first of all, you can start looking at nutrition from a nourishing perspective, right? So before, you might have thought of nutrition as that thing you'll kind of worry about later, or it might have been in reaction to something. Gain 5 pounds, you have to slow down what you're eating. You have to watch your portions. You have to make some changes, right? Now you're thinking more in terms of long-term health. What are the things that I need to do to prevent myself from developing diseases, right? What is the thing I need to do now to prevent myself from gaining weight, to prevent myself from having heart problems, so my heart can keep beating for another 40 or 50 years, right? So look for ways to optimize your long-term nutrition or your long-term health through nutrition. So it might mean, skipping eating out 3 days a week and eating from home more. Things like that, right? Then also take that and look at your current lifestyle. Do you have more time now or do you have less time now? What are the resources that you do have, whether it's time, whether it's a little bit more money, maybe whatever it might be, right? Maybe you have better access to something than you did years ago, right? So look at those kinds of things first. And then what new hobbies do you want to try? Is there something, maybe you want to take a cooking class. Maybe you want to learn rock climbing. Maybe you want to pick up yoga. I got a girl for that one if you do. So, whatever it might be. And then look at making self-care more of a priority. So now you might, like I said, have more time. But at any rate, self-care needs to be more important to you now because it is more important. Your body is not as resilient as it used to be, and you need to make some changes to how you're approaching that. You need to schedule the time to take a nap if that's what you need to help with sleep. You need to schedule a time to cook healthy meals if eating better is what you're really looking for. So, optimizing your nutrition, finding ways to move that are fitting your current lifestyle. So maybe you don't go for a run anymore. Maybe you go for a walk. So now you need to figure out where you're going to fit that in. Maybe you have a new hobby that you picked up and you need to figure out A, where to go, B, what tools do you need, all of that stuff, fitting it in. And then self-care is a priority. So those 3 things are the things that you're really looking at to optimize where you are now. I keep saying optimize where you are now in life and where you want to be in 40 more years, because you're not too old. Even if you're 60, you've got 40 more years, right? So look at it that way. Why not? You don't know. You don't know how much time you have. Nobody knows. It's not like we are given a card that says your expiration date is this time. It doesn't work that way. So you're not too old. All right, so your body's ability to adapt and heal. This is a huge one. Think about this long and hard. Your body can always make changes. It's designed to do that. It's designed essentially to pivot, right? Pivot, whatever. I'm thinking of that Friends episode. But yeah, your body is designed to do that, right? So if we're nourishing, we're building strength, and we're scheduling in that rest and recovery, these are the things that you need. Whatever you're going through now, it's temporary. Right? So the pregnancy years, those were temporary. Now we're in a new stage. All of the things that happen to you during perimenopause are temporary, even though they feel like they're never ending. It feels overwhelming. This too shall pass, I promise. Once you prioritize nourishing, moving with intention, finding that self-care, you're going to have much better outcomes. You're going to feel better. You're going to be energized, right? So that's what I teach. That's what I teach in my membership program. That's what I teach in my all of my programs, my one-on-ones, my packages, all of that. These are the core principles that we start with. Looking at where you are now, what are you struggling with, where do you want to be, what is the ideal vision of the life you want to live look like? You're never too old to make those changes. All right, so we're going to talk about weight gain just for a minute because so many of us are struggling with this. We feel like, it's nothing I do works, so why should I even bother? Well, you have to be systematic about it. You need to have a strategy for helping with that weight gain. First of all, you need to find the reason that it's happening. And this is different for everyone. It's not just hormones. It's not just perimenopause. It's not just postmenopause. Usually there are other things going on. And once you figure out the root cause, then you can make changes. So it's literally just a series of figuring out what's going on, making the change, and then being consistent. Again, these are things that we talk through in the membership. These are things we talk through in our one-to-ones. So whenever you're talking to me, this is where we're going to start, right? So, weight gain is usually a result of a whole bunch of things happening. Slowing metabolism, hormone imbalances, and then poor choices as a result of all of that happening at the same time. So for instance, you don't sleep well, your metabolism is slow, you're going out to eat because you're too tired, you're not taking care of yourself, you're eating convenience foods which tend to be higher in calories, higher in fat. Do you see how this is snowballing? And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. So things like that are what you need to look at. Maybe you schedule a nap. Gonna make a world of difference, right? Maybe you meal prep or find a place where you can purchase meal prepped meals. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't have the time to do it, again, look at your resources and then pick things that are going to make the biggest difference. So I said I wasn't going to let this go off into a tangent or on a rant, and here I am on this wild tangent. So let's wrap this all up. And what do you need to know right now? Well, you need to know what you need, right? What do I need right now? Where do I want to be in a month? Where do I want to be in 3 months? Where do I want to be in 20 years from now? So think back, if you could have at 35 have decided where you were going to be at 55, where would that be? Okay, so what do I need? Where do I want to be? And then what's my first step? So in the case of the weight gain that I talked about, what's my first step there? All right, so what are the habits that aren't serving me that I already have? What are the habits that are serving me that I already have? What do I need to dig in deeper? And what do I need to let go of and maybe tweak a little bit? So it could be that simple. And that's what I'm here for, to help you with that. And then you just do that over and over and over again, as long as it takes, as many times as it takes to be consistent, because it doesn't happen with change overnight anymore. It takes a little bit longer. You have to be more consistent. All right, so it's never too late to get started. You can make meaningful changes, and I don't even really care how old you are. You can make meaningful changes at any age, and they're going to impact your outcomes. They're going to impact your life, your quality of life, how things are moving for you. All right, friends, so that's it. That's all I have this week. You are never too old. It is never too late. You can always make meaningful change. So your action step is to take a look at something that you want to change and take age out of the equation. Doesn't even matter. Take the thought of you're too old or I can't do this because, take that right out of the equation and then plan that first step, whatever that first step is. If you want to see what it's like to work with me in my programs, join me for my 5-day mindful eating to manage your weight challenge. That was a mouthful. So 5 days worth of mindful eating emails are going to come to you, and then I'm going live every single day to help you out with those, answer questions. So we're going to be practicing the mindful eating strategies that I use with my clients. Strategies that are getting huge successes in managing symptoms, managing weight, feeling like $1,000,000 and like you're 20 years younger. So that's the 5-day mindful eating for weight management challenge. I will put the link down there so that you know where to go to register. And I hope that you join me because it's going to be a lot of fun. I love to do challenges, so this one's going to be a good time. We're probably going to sneak some yoga in there as well. And remember that it's never too late. You can always make meaningful change. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.